Welcome back. Minister of Public Works and Infrastructure, Paricia de Lille, has a possible solution to the country's ongoing land reform issues. She's recommended getting state-owned entities to release land they're not using, but practically, let's talk about how this is going to work. Minister de Lille joins us now on the lead. Minister, thanks for your time. We appreciate it. So you made these comments last week about SOEs possibly releasing the land that they have and they're not using. Just tell us more about how you reckon this is going to work.
Thank you, Asham. The way we see that this can work and that can assist government to speed up land reform within our country, and especially in our major cities, we need to deal with the apartheid spatial planning of our cities by government releasing well-located state-owned land within the city so that we can bring about spatial justice. What is a fact is that a lot of the well-located land within cities and towns, some of that land is owned by the state-owned entities. So by putting this proposal on the table to say to the state-owned entities like Transnet, Paricia, Eskom, the post office, there are many state-owned entities with very good, well-located land, to release some of the land to government to speed up our land reform process. But to understand the context, Shaham, is that the Department of Rural Development did 2 audits on land. The one was done in 2014, and that was to see how much land is in private hands and how much land is in state, it's owned by the state. And it found that 79% of South African land is in the hands of private ownership, and 14% is in the hands of the state, and 7% is unaccounted for. The department then did another audit in 2017, and this time they were testing to see what percentage of the land is currently being farmed on for agriculture and farms. And there they found that for agricultural land, you've got 72% it's owned by whites, 15% is owned by coloreds, 5% by Indians, and 4% by blacks. That is now for the agricultural land. The other part of the study also look at urban land. And you can see that we've seen some changes in urban ownership, because currently in the urban areas, 49% of the land in urban areas is owned by whites, 30% by black Africans, 8% by coloreds, and 5% by Indians. So if government wants to lead on land reform, we need to look at, first of all, what land do we have in the ownership of government? And then we need to also work with the private sector, where the majority of the land is currently owned by them. And then we need to work together, South Africans, to find a solution for the land-hungry people that we have out there.
Yeah. So, of course, you also say that, SOEs are just keeping the land on their balance sheet, but it's not being used, and that the Deputy President will look into this matter going forward. How soon do you envisage that we're going to see these SOEs release this land? Because we've been talking about this land issue for a very long time, and this process obviously has to happen fast.
Yes, definitely. I have a meeting with Minister Pravin Gordhan, the Minister of Public Enterprises, next week, where we will start the conversation to begin to look at an audit of what percentage of land is owned by the state-owned entities. And then thereafter, the Deputy President will then convene a special meeting with all the state-owned entities so that we can discuss how the state-owned entities can release the land for land reform instead of just keeping it on their balance sheet. So it is a process that we will undertake in the next couple of weeks, and we will from time to time give Parliament the feedback, because this issue was also raised by Parliament last week. But we do need to do a lot more to satisfy the land-hungry people of our country, of which are in the majority.
And Minister, while I have you here, let's talk about the so-called washing line at the border between South Africa and Zimbabwe. Last month, of course, you said that you'll be looking at alternatives to erecting something more permanent and that can't be broken through so easily. Where are you in that process?
Shyam, about 3 weeks ago, we had put out a request for information and for proposals to test the market for solutions, to see what solutions are in the market at the moment. Currently, we are collating all the responses of the proposals that has come in, including sensors, including, the patrol roads. And then once we have collated all of the responses, I will then meet with the Minister of Defence and put the various options to the Department of Defence that will be the user department. And that meeting is also taking place before the end of April, so that we can look at better and long-lasting solutions. In terms of the irregularities, the Special Investigating Unit is before the Special Tribunal, and with a request to nullify the contracts, and we are waiting for the SIU to complete that process before we take a further step to recover the money on behalf of the state.
So ultimately, we've basically wasted 40 million rand?
Well, you know what? On the 25th of April 2020, when I realized that things were not going according to plan, I did issue instructions to stop any further payments to the company. By that stage, we have paid 21 million of the 40 million, and that is what the SIU tribunal must now decide as to when they nullify the contract, whether we will get back the 21 million that we have paid so far, Shyam.
Yeah, all right. Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it. Minister of Public Works and Infrastructure, Paricia de Lille.